speaking of jobs, actually, like, do you have a day job right now?
I do have a day job right now.
What's your hustle?
I work as a nanny.
Okay.
Right now I nanny for boy-girl twins. It's very exhausting. Yeah, they're almost 2. I've been with them since they were 2 months old. So
whoa.
Yeah, it's probably the longest job I've had in a minute. I used to call myself the part-time hero because I just worked 6 part-time jobs every day until I died. Yeah, I just, for someone who has as many skills as I have, you would think I would have found like a career, but I just really never did. I haven't found like a job that I've ever stuck with. I've just done a lot of different things that I've been pretty good at, but nothing that's ever been like, I should do this forever.
Yeah, I mean, I jumped around,
Yeah,
but all with the pursuit of comedy in the background.
Right, like I always knew I wanted to
that.
write in some shape or form. It took me a while to figure out like how I wanted to do it. But once I did, I decided like, okay, well, let's focus on a job that gives me flexibility. And oddly enough, being a nanny really is like the best job for a comedian.
Yeah, for the hours?
Yeah, it's steady, and they usually sleep part of the day if you pick the right ages to nanny, or they'll be in school, so you're working part-time. And usually you're done by 5 or 6, so it's like enough time to get to shows. I mean, yeah, it sucks. I usually have to be at work at like 7:30 in the morning. It's kind of hard, but
yeah, I've done that.
But also, it keeps you from spending your whole night drinking and being an idiot. It makes you go do your set, go home, go to bed, attack the day healthy the next day.
Because you're in charge of lives.
Because you're in charge of lives.
You're in charge of the future of the world.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I mean, it's been a good gig. I definitely can kind of see like the horizon of where I'm gonna hit like critical mass, and it's like time to sort of piss or get off the pot when it comes to comedy, where it's like I'll have done as much as I can do with the time I have while working full time. Because right now, between like my job and like all the things I do, producing and writing and teaching and all that, like I'm definitely working like 80 hours a week. Like it's a lot.
That's
I'm
real.
tired,
Yeah.
And I don't think I can do my best at all of those things at the same time anymore. So I am kind of at like a crossroads where I'm having to decide, what am I gonna do?
What's your plan?
I don't really know. I think I definitely like I'm trying to like stick it out to stay working with my family until the kids go into like daycare or pre-K, which really isn't too far down the road. But if I can't, I don't know. Because what I'd like to do is I'd like to focus more on producing. I really like running shows. I really like organizing shows. I think I'm getting pretty good at it. I'd like to do Don't Tell every week if I can. But with Don't Tell, that's like a lot of work because
so much work.
I have to scout venues. I have to set up those relationships. I have to go check them to make sure they are good. I have to book comics. Then I have to show up. I have to set up. I mean, I've got 40 folding chairs and a PA system in my house.
Is it all you?
It's all me, baby.
Oh
I got
my
volunteers.
gosh.
I get people who like volunteer, and then I let them bring a couple friends to the show for free. But yeah, more often than not, it's just me and hopefully a very friendly person at the venue who's willing to help me load in some chairs. But I actually been really surprised by how many people will volunteer for Don't Tell. We get a lot of audience members who just think it's super cool and they want to like come back for free, so they come and like work the door or something, which is sweet.
Great.
But yeah, I'd love to do more Don't Tell. It's just it takes a lot of time and energy. And then the stuff I'm doing with Windy Peach, like right now, I'm producing like the open mic and a Monday night show, but I've gotten some opportunities to do other shows other places, but I just don't know when I'd physically have the time to go do that with what I'm doing right now. So I would love to be able to like leave my job on like a happy note, get them a replacement nanny, and like fly off on an umbrella like Mary Poppins, and then and then come back in Mary Poppins 2 when they're adults, but and then be able to focus on just trying to do what I'm doing now, but like a little bit more, because I also have like other like tiny little irons in the fire. Like there's a great website called Comedy Wire. That you
I've
can.
heard of them.
There's like a sort of set up like Reddit, and there's like a part that's free where you can just like write headline jokes and fun stuff. And eventually, like if you get upvoted and people like your material on there, they might invite you to the pro side, which is mostly just like a bunch of freelance gigs for like radio and podcast commercials for like jewelers. It's like not very exciting or funny. But every so often there's like a cool gig on there. Like I've gotten to write tweets for like Wendy's, and I've gotten to write copy for like big festivals, like stuff like that.
And this is all paid work.
Yeah, and it's
nice.
There's different bids. It's not a lot, but if you write a couple ads a day and you win the bid, because you post your bid and you're like competing with other people for the bid, and then the client will pick their favorite, and then you'll either split the pot if multiple ones get picked, or you get to take the whole pot. And they're usually between like $10 and $30, but sometimes they're more. Sometimes they're like a couple hundred. And they do like contests and giveaways. They just gave away like a free year of that master class. You know, that like online class, like Judd Apatow,
Yeah.
and Steve Martin and stuff. They had like a write-in contest, like write a Steve Martin-esque quip. And then they picked their favorite one, and that person won a year of master class access.
This is Comedy Wire?
Yeah. So like
They
there's like a
sound
lot
like-
of a lot of little stuff that
Yeah.
you can get out of it. But yeah, I would love to like focus on doing more of that during the day, and you know, submitting articles to people, because I would love to like write again. That's, you know, not comedy necessarily.
Yeah,
I'd love to audition. I've got a voiceover
okay.
demo, but I've never done an audition
I
in
saw that
Atlanta.
too,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like, and it's just because I haven't had the time. I've never even like pursued getting like management or getting representation, which I think is something I'm starting to need to move on to the next thing that I want to do. But to do that, I'm going to have to free up about 40 hours in my week.
it's like,
you know?
yeah, it's
You
like,
know?
what is the
'Cause, yeah,
passion profession
Exactly, because I can
balance?
see where I might be able to make more income and sustain myself, but it's also just like such a huge risk. And that's very nerve-wracking for me.
When I decided to go full time, I made a list of like all the pros and cons of like, okay, if I go full time, what are all the awesome things that could happen? What's the worst case scenario of what could happen? And the pros far outweighed the cons,
Right.
and I was just like, all right,
Were
I'm
you
just gonna do it.
were you married at that point? Like you were?
I was not.
You were single.
I
or
was
you-
living
were
in
you
a
with
studio
your-
apartment on Boulevard. I was like the front lines of gentrification in the hood of Boulevard.
First in
I
line.
was, but I was a hotel minibar attendant. So like, I worked my way. I like was at Enterprise, and then I gradually from there took jobs that paid less but gave me more time, and I kind of weaned myself into comedy full time that way. And I saved up $10,000.
Yeah.
And that's just what I jumped into comedy with. I was like, okay, I have $10,000. Let me. That was like goal one. Save that. And then I did all my pros and cons and was like, well, it seems like
Like
this
I
is
can do
what I
this,
gotta do.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right,
And
which is weird, right? Kind of unsettling. 'Cause
It
you're like,
is.
well, I could.
It's like, this is what I was born to do. Wait, should I do this?
Oh no, it's
What-
finally here. Like,
But it is like when you step into that world, then the world will start to reveal itself to you, and just opportunities will start to.
yeah, you got to kind of
come.
like take the leap, you know?
Yeah.
You can't be available if you're not there. You know, it's like what I keep telling myself. Because, yeah, I think for me, like my plan, I see all these like little things I can do to sustain myself. I have the time. I have some opportunities with some clubs that like nationally that like me. Maybe I could book more road work and I could start doing that because I really haven't done much of that.
Yeah.
And I could, you know, pick up a part-time job. I could do little things here and there. Like there's always ways to make little amounts of money, you know. I just have to like remind myself like it can be done.